Have you ever wondered why peace seems so elusive in the Middle East? The Middle East crisis, a complex web of historical disputes and ongoing conflicts, holds the answer. Central to this crisis is the long-standing conflict between Israel and Palestine, a struggle that has shaped the region's history and continues to influence its present. Recently, a glimmer of hope emerged in the form of a Gaza ceasefire deal. However, even as we speak, this deal hangs in the balance, its future uncertain. With a ceasefire deal in place, why does tranquility remain a distant dream? Understanding the present requires a journey into the past. Let's embark on a timeline of turmoil, tracing the roots of the Israel-Hamas conflict to the present ceasefire deal. The initial conflict between Israel and Palestinians dates back to the mid-20th century, with both sides laying claim to the same territories. Over the decades, this conflict has seen numerous escalations, agreements, and breaches, each adding a new layer of complexity to an already convoluted situation. Fast forward to the recent past, a ceasefire deal was proposed by Egypt and Qatar. This proposition was met with mixed reactions. On one hand, Hamas, the Palestinian organization, accepted the proposal. Their acceptance was driven by the promise of phased releases of hostages and truces, with a long-term vision for a permanent ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israeli troops. On the other hand, Israel deemed the proposal insufficient, sparking continued military operations. The reaction from Israel was not without consequences. In eastern Rafah, a region in the southern Gaza Strip, Israel ordered evacuations. This led to a wave of uncertainty and fear among the Palestinians who were displaced from their homes. As we journey through this timeline, it is clear that each decision, each reaction has profound implications not just for Israel and Palestine, but for the international community as well. The United States, the United Nations, and other international entities have expressed growing concerns about the situation. As the ceasefire deal hangs in the balance, the fate of the Middle East remains uncertain. The timeline of turmoil continues to evolve, with each new event shaping the course of history in this complex region. The present paints a picture of uncertainty and apprehension. In the aftermath of the recent Gaza ceasefire deal, the situation is far from resolved. Israel, dissatisfied with the proposed terms, has continued its military operations. This decision, stemming from a deemed insufficiency in the Egypt and Qatar brokered proposal, has added fuel to an already smoldering fire. The ceasefire agreement, initially accepted by Hamas, suggested a phased approach. It called for the release of hostages and truces, with Hamas advocating for a permanent ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israeli troops. However, Israel's continuation of military operations has cast a long shadow over these hopeful propositions. Adding to the turbulence, evacuations have been ordered in Rafah, a city on the eastern edge of the Gaza Strip. This has resulted in an upsurge of fear and uncertainty among the displaced Palestinians. Forced from their homes, they now face an uncertain future in an increasingly unstable environment. This situation has not gone unnoticed by the international community. The United States and the United Nations, among others, have expressed their concerns about the ongoing crisis. Their apprehension echoes around the world as the consequences of this conflict reverberate far beyond the borders of Israel and Palestine. The ceasefire deal, rather than being a resolution, has only added another layer of complexity to the conflict. Looking ahead, what does the future hold for the Middle East? As we ponder this question, there are several possibilities that come to mind. First, there's the potential for a permanent ceasefire. This would mean both Israel and Hamas agreeing to lay down their arms for good, leading to a lasting peace that both sides can live with. It's a scenario that's been desired for decades, but achieving it would require significant concessions from both sides and a commitment to maintain peace in the long term. Alternatively, there's the possibility of continued conflict. If negotiations fail and the ceasefire proposal is not accepted, we could see a continuation of the violence and uncertainty that has plagued the region for so long. This would not only impact the people living there, but could potentially destabilize the wider region and the world. Then there's the potential for international intervention. If the situation continues to escalate, there may be pressure on the international community, including the US and UN, to step in and help broker a resolution. This could involve diplomatic negotiations, economic sanctions, or even military involvement. Regardless of the path that is taken, one thing is clear: the importance of negotiation and diplomacy cannot be overstated. It is through these mechanisms that a resolution can be found and a lasting peace achieved. While the path to peace remains fraught with challenges, hope endures that a resolution can be reached, and the Middle East can finally find the tranquility it so desperately seeks.